Okay, visitors, anybody, anything?
The other thing I'd like to bring up is the budget, which of course is now going to go to referendum on the 8th. And just to point out that the budget, the legal notice, if you just pass this around, there. The legal notice includes a column for the current year's expected expenditures. Mm-hmm. And we've learned from Robert Curry, for example, and I'll pass these around as well, that the certified line and the employee benefits line are going to have big surpluses in them. Mm-hmm. And they're not reflecting that in this legal budget. Likewise, Mr. Curry could not provide a similar sheet for the town of Clinton, which I also FOIA requesting. I gather we haven't done a updated, where are we on our budget? I can say that in all my years of budgeting, I never did a budget any time that I didn't know where I was in the current year. And it's a little bit like a doctor prescribing medicine and not taking someone's temperature. It's malpractice. So I think that in the future we need to know where we are in the current year's budget.
We know where we are. I can go on my computer anytime and pull out this year's expenditures for the town side, and I know where we are in relation to what was approved and appropriated.
Is there some reason that Mr. Curry can't?
I don't know. I know that he
was asked for this and he didn't.
He was comparing numbers. I know he was comparing these numbers with the actual audited numbers too, to make sure that they were correct.
But clearly the information on the legal notice is not accurate.
Because when I go through, I'll tell you right now, I go through when we do our budgets in December, we start putting them together November, December, I go through year to date where we are on line items to see why, if there's a request for more money or if there's a request for the same amount of money and less than 50% has been spent. And Carol, you've asked those questions too. We know where we are at that point.
Is there some reason Mr. Curry couldn't have supplied a report like this to the Board of Finance?
You just said that was for the town side.
Yeah, I
was asking about the education.
Well, I'm asking about Belford.
Has that in there too, year-to-date expenses when we get that budget book.
But the information on the legal notice is clearly not accurate. And
well, this does show a surplus in the health insurance and the certified staff of $100,000.
$371,000.
Yeah. No, so it's
the
estimated expenses versus original $60,000.
One of those columns is what was done by Kevin Kane in November, and the other one, the second column, is what was done by Robert Curry in February, and he's projecting a surplus of $371,000.
So these are his projections through the end of the fiscal year.
Yes, and then
this is how it looks to him at
and what I'm saying is that
February 21st.
That's correct, and what I'm saying, that is not reflected in the legal notice. The legal notice says that this year's expenditure will equal last year's budget, and it's not correct. It's inaccurate. And putting that out to the public is
well, because it's estimated. First of all, you can't. It's estimated. You can't put down unless you have a certified audit. You can't project. I'm telling you, that's the truth. The auditors will go crazy on us if we could just start estimating. We know what about we're going to have for a surplus.
Well, what is the column? What is the column on the budget?
I don't know why they have an estimated expenses column.
Well, they do,
and
it's misleading.
No, it shouldn't be there, because until you have the audit done after the end of June, you don't know what your actual expenditures are.
I mean,
you can estimate, but...
the other thing is
it does seem like a waste, because the figures
it's just the
for
same
the Board of
number.
Education run straight down in compliance with the original expenses.
Right, there are about 3 lines there that vary from the budget.
What is the charter required for the publication?
Just a dollar amount. Actually, we don't have to get to this extent. You could go by department, just have a line item for fire department, total requested appropriation, and that's all you have to have.
The answer to Kurt, I mean, I provide to the Public Works Commission my year-to-date every month. I go right to the computer now and print it out. So, I mean, that information as a department head, we look at it all the time. But the budget that's why it's called estimated. I mean, you can't, if you put a surplus in there and something happens, you don't have a surplus, then people are going to be just as mad because you say, well, what happened to the surplus? So,
plus, we look at the year-to-date, we review the budget
yeah,
halfway through the fiscal year.
I don't know how you do that and be accurate.
All I'm saying is that the legal notice is clearly not.
Well, that's why it says estimated, and that's what makes it the legal notice. It doesn't say actual.
If you put an estimated expense showing a surplus, and then there is no surplus at the end of the year, it would be
Correct.
equally as.
I guess the thing is if it's just gonna be what the budget was last
Why
year.
have it?
Why have it?
Why have it?
But it comes to,
I agree.
it strikes me in this
That
form
makes sense.
to be misleading.
Take it out.
Yeah, I think that's the bottom line, why have it?
I would like to have it, and I would like to have numbers like Mr. Curry has provided
Yeah,
in
I'd
it.
like to have
That to me would be
authentic
useful,
numbers.
and it would be something that'd be insightful for voters to have in front of them. And it is an estimate, but it ought to be a current estimate. It shouldn't be what last year's budget was, otherwise it's useless.
Right, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, we gotta agree.
I agree.
We agree.
And we've got that on film.
I'll tell Tom Hollinger, Tom Hollinger, members of the Board of Finance have been asking for years to change the way this is done. Just put, police department, X amount of dollars, and if somebody requests a breakdown of it, then they provide the breakdown of the line items.
Right, I think what you got there is great, except for that one column.
Right.
I think more detail is better than less detail.
Right.
But it needs to be accurate.
I agree.
He was working on that yesterday with the stuff for the town side, what you had asked for I was down there, he was trying to figure out where we were tracking.
It doesn't even concern me as much the town side, because, I mean, there's a lot of oversight on many individuals' parts on the town side. Board of Education, we just get that big number and very little breakdown. And so I think the public would like more information as to how the education system is going, since all we hear is about declining enrollment. The other night, a big portion of the discussion that David Fink gave us was about how it's projected that the enrollment in public schools in Connecticut in general will go down 26% in the upcoming years. So why are these education budgets choking us all to death? I forget what his time frame was, but it was 26 years, and that's why they're looking at housing as being more centralized downtown, and why we are such an advantage with the train station right there, because that's ideal for an older population who still wants mobility. But everything you hear is about how there are fewer and fewer children in schools in Connecticut, so I just think education in general needs a tight, close look from year to year, and that just automatic increases should not be automatic.
Okay. All right, anybody else? Moving on.